Welcome back once again to the Hogcast. Join the FTCR crew as they cover the latest in Sonic the Hedgehog happenings.
I love it when he's playing baseball with himself.
That's good. He makes himself
At the
fart.
plate, Sonic! At the plate, but also Sonic! I love that shit.
I think the thing is like, this is still just a decent trailer. But
Well, the
like,
movie would probably suck.
yeah, it's just like when someone says, hey, they're making a Hollywood Sonic movie, and in your mind's eye, you imagine it. This trailer is what comes to mind, I think, is like the thing. Like, this is what everyone expected when they first heard they're doing a live-action Hollywood Sonic movie.
Yes.
And then the other thing happened, and everyone's
It was like,
how did you
oh,
fuck
no.
it up?
Go back!
It's so simple. How did you do this? You're not writing a huge story here. You're writing fucking Sonic. How do you fuck this up? And also, it looks awful. But
Is that the world's biggest rubber band ball? We gotta see it!
he looks so cute in that little shot.
His Dobby face when he's just doing the battle. God bless you, Tyson Hess.
Thank you, Tyson, and the animators who made it possible.
Oh, and that's also another thing we should say. So I guess the original budget, originally before the redesign, they were saying it was between 90 and 100 million, which
That sounds standard.
fairly, yeah, you know, for a movie of this type, it's even a bit low for a movie of like this kind of. But then once after the redesign, obviously, they delayed the movie. Well, which is the back end. So after the first trailer, they announced they're going to redesign Sonic. They were like, we've heard your feedback, we're going to redesign him.
Yeah.
And then at that point, everyone was like, oh, you know, hopefully, because, you know, crunch time is a big thing, you know, it's more known about now. So obviously, good people don't want that, you know. So,
Right.
after a while, Jeff Fowler was like, we pushed it back, because originally it was going to come out, I think, November 8th or 9th. And now it's been pushed back to
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's. It's been pushed now to Valentine's Day. So I know what I'm dragging my wife to do on Love Day. And they said that was, you know, to ensure that they could get everything correct, and so the artists don't have to crunch and all that stuff. So a lot of people were happy with that. And then after some guy on Twitter with no backing up his information or anything was just like the reshoot, like the new work cost $35 million, and everyone just accepted it.
This is one of my biggest issues with the internet now. Is someone can say something, it gets screen capped, it goes viral,
Yeah.
and the correct clarifying information doesn't.
But then I want to say there was I think Variety interviewed the director, Jeff Fowler, and he said, probably, I'm sure to try and quote this, was like, yeah, I guess it's the actual cost is closer to $5 million.
Yeah, I think they said like not even $5 million.
Which again, if all they were doing was redesigning the character and having to reanimate those scenes, it probably wouldn't cost that much, you know. So,
I mean, like, granted, millions of dollars is a lot of fucking money.
in context of
like,
these movies, that's $5 million is not that.
Yeah. In context of Twitter user X, who decided to throw out that number for some reason.
Yes. But I would say based on the reaction, the views, and the likes and the comments, $5 million well spent.
Yeah.
After that second trailer came out.
It's made it what it should have been all along. Probably.
Yeah. Which, you know, and this is something, and now you see a lot of people, that Lisa Simpson meme is a big one, where it's like Lisa like a chalkboard, and people will just put their own text in. And you see a lot of people now saying that it's, if you don't now go and see the Sonic movie, you're a piece of shit. Essentially,
I don't like the guilting. No.
I'm like, no, man. Like, fucking, it's to be.
It's not my responsibility for a studio to make something I want to spend money on.
Yeah, I mean, like
it is, but not like, you know what I mean.
It's like they listened to feedback, which is good. They made him look how he should have looked. But that's the thing, that we should never have gotten the first Abomination.
Yeah, the onus is not on us for them to have to do it properly after doing it badly.
And it's like he looks great, which is true, but I did enjoy the trailer, but if we're thinking about the law of averages and the history of not only video game adaptations, but just Sonic's kind of he's also a cartoon character, cartoon adaptations.
Yeah.
Or you have a cartoony character, bring him into the real world. Those don't generally go very well. So, no, fuck you.
Yeah,
I will still see this movie.
because we
But not because you're
guilty
guilting me. No, because we gotta milk it on the YouTube channel.
Right, we have our 8th discussion video going up next week.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the last thing I'll add on while we're complaining about the climate around the movie,
The guilters.
I see a lot of people who it comes from a really good place, are like, I'm gonna go see this movie to support the animators
Yeah.
who had to redo this, and what I want to push back on is say they got paid. Hopefully they got paid. I would say once the credits are out, or if someone says, "Hey, I worked on the movie," if they have like a Patreon or a coffee or with that, if you want to support the animators, pick one, give them $5.
Because you know what? Yeah, I don't even know if they get residuals.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't know.
Like I honestly like the
Probably
actors,
not.
like actors, producers, writers, directors. Yeah, like they will. The more money this movie gets, they'll probably get more. I honestly do not know if CG animators get any type of residuals. I don't think they do.
I don't either.
So
I would
really,
imagine.
like you want again, you go and see it won't. I mean,
You're lining the studio's pocket at that point.
yes, I mean like the movie doing well might be good if the name's on the credits. It might be good for them career wise, but like yeah, I don't think monetarily. I don't think it'll directly help them. You going to see the movie 4 times.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not saying don't see the movie. I'm not saying don't pay for a ticket. Watch the movie if you want.
Yeah.
But if your notion is mostly or entirely, I need to support the animators, even if you just pick one and give them the cost of a movie ticket, $5-10, that'll make so much more of a difference than going to see the movie. You know, and again, like, that comes from a really good place. I'm not saying fuck those people. I'm just saying consider the following Bill Nye style. You know.
Yeah, I agree. You heard it first, folks. Chris said, "Fuck the animators."
Yeah, I can't believe it. Those fuckers think they can just make cartoons talk and get money.
This ain't Roger Rabbit.
Well, they built a house. That's what I'm saying.
Why don't they cure diseases?
Yeah. Anyway, you want to make more money talking about Sonic?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
That's our next topic. Chris opened his phone again. He sent the fucking image of the original design.
God. Okay. Here's the Sonic 3 prototype, which upset the development of Sonic 3 in our minds. Which, fucking crazy.
Okay, so for some context, I guess the biggest thing about this was, obviously it's never been officially confirmed, but Michael Jackson, I think at this point it's safe to assume
Elephant in the room.
he did.
Yeah, everyone knows.
Everyone knows Michael Jackson did work on Sonic 3. The tracks that everyone points to being Carbonite, Ice Cap, Launch Base. Also, he had to have done
the credits
because it is just Strangers in Moscow.
Yeah.
Sped up, that's all it is. There was a PC release, Sonic 3 and Knuckles PC port, where the music for Carbonite, Launch Base, and Ice Cap were changed, but not the credits. That's still Strangers in fucking Moscow. And a lot of people were saying, oh, this must be to do with Michael Jackson and his music, which probably was the case. But the music tracks in there, for one, all of the music was all of the music midified, or was it just those tracks were like bad midis?
I've never played this version.
I have it.
Let's pop it in right
now.
now.
Pop it in right now. But those tracks in questions are really bad midis on the PC version.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that may be why they're so hated. At that point,
I'm pulling up a song just to check.
They were not amazingly enjoyed. Let's have a quick listen. They're all mid-
Okay.
So the whole soundtrack is midified. So for years, people those must have been just 3 tracks that Sega quickly put together to remove the license. Again, why would Strangers in Moscow not be removed?
Yeah.
But then some. Now, you may notice more than I because where the fuck did this person, and we should say Hidden Palace Zone?
Hidden Palace, and I think the Cutting Room 4 had like a part in it.
Okay. Where did they
good
find
sites.
this?
I don't know about this one specifically is the thing, but a few months ago there was an auction and they bought a bunch of prototypes and they got together and did a thing called Sonic Month. And on specific dates they would live stream going through the prototypes they bought and then release it to the public, which they
Good fucking guys.
That's where the plain salad thing for Sonic CD came from. Everyone probably knows that meme by now.
I don't. What, plain salad?
There's a Sonic CD prototype. It's the earliest one we have, where the level select, when you go to Palm Tree Panic, the zone sign round says salad plain. So I guess at some point they were like, yeah, let's call this level salad plain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that.
Well, to be fair, that makes it as much sense as most Sonic levels zone titles.
So
To be fair.
that's how I like my salad anyway.
Plain.
Yeah. So the final release, they saved what they were saying was the biggest for last, and some people were like, "Oh, Sonic 1." That's kind of like the holy grail.
Or the one with the UFOs, the one people were looking for.
Yeah, like the Sonic 1 prototype, more Sonic Adventure, blah blah blah. But it started in Sonic 3, and it was going through, and there's some differences. Like the music wasn't fully done.
The sprite was Sonic. Basically,
Sprite
it
was
was Sonic 2 sprite.
Sonic
Knuckles
2.
looked different. Knuckles had a different sprite.
Knuckles had a different sprite. He had different music.
He was a lot more animated. His sprite animation was a lot more fluid.
Yeah, like Sonic comes in on like a surfboard,
Which we knew about. Which although I don't think we'd ever seen the Sonic 2 sprite do that, because there is footage of Sonic 3 sprite doing that surfboard intro.
So it goes on, and it's got some interesting stuff.
Like Knuckles doesn't knock the emeralds out. He just kind of puts his hand out to make him halt, and then does the how would you describe it? Like the finger, come in, and then he runs away.
Yeah.
He does what Metal Sonic does in Sonic 4 Episode 2 when you race him. That same hand gesture. He puts his hand and goes, and then runs off. That's what he does.
I wonder if that's a Japanese thing. Anyway.
Maybe.
So it gets on, and then it gets to Carnival Night Zone, and then a Genesis version of what was in a PC release that
plays.
That track that we thought was a replacement plays. And it sounds really fucking good.
Act 2, I think. The intro to Act 2 is like, holy fucking shit, this is funky as shit.
I remember as soon as I came in, I started dancing in my seat, which I don't do often. It's like, God damn, what? I don't like these tracks. What's going on?
I still don't care. I still don't care for the original Ice Cap.
Yeah, then it got to Ice Cap, and I was like, okay, Carnival Night fit that zone. Ice Cap is like someone came up to someone and was like, "Can you make some ice music?"
What the fuck is ice music?
What's ice? Baby? There's that. Launch Base has the track.
Isn't also this was part of the? It wasn't the full game, but it was. I guess this was more when Sonic 3 was going to be one game. So Flying Battery.
They were able to access Flying Battery from Level Select. Yeah, that's in there. There was some lava reef that they were pasting back together because there were graphical assets on the thing. Yeah, and this build was dated. We're all over the place because it's exciting.
Yeah.
The build was dated November 3rd.
1993.
1993. And considering cartridge production, this is probably a few weeks before they finalized it, which is interesting considering how much is lost. The current theory...
Well,
because there's a lot of stuff not in place, but a lot of it is there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the framework's there, it's just, like, additional details, like the sprites.
Yeah, and I think some of it, like some of the backgrounds, some
of the backgrounds.
It's like the map, like the level was fully playable, but in certain levels the background is either barren or it's not finalized.
Yeah, Hydro City had a different background altogether. Actually, it looked like a Sonic CD background, but so it was probably a few weeks before they finalized. The theory is that there were workstations and that this is one of the builds of the game at that time. Like, the multiplayer levels are basically finalized on this one, so people are like, oh, maybe this guy was working on the multiplayer levels, and then someone on a different computer was
working on the
fleshing out. Yeah. But yeah,
it's a cool find, man. It's a really cool find.
There's so much interesting stuff in there, and
I think the big thing is that kind of really does cement the fact that Jackson probably did. He must have done this music.
Yeah,
he came in and stole the Jet song for Ice Cap.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take that. That's mine.
That's
Michael
mine,
Jackson,
that's
bitch.
mine.
I'll hang a baby out a window. I don't give a fuck.
This is fucking... I forget what the show... There was a show in England years ago that the gimmick was, it was like celebrity impressions, but they all had really bad, latex, big monster masks, faces on.
Oh, God.
And the Michael Jackson guy, who looked nothing like Michael Jackson, and was just like guy with a beard, so it wasn't Michael Jackson. But this one liner stuck with me for years. He goes like, "This is my son. His name's Blanket. Why I call him Blanket? Because I put a fucking blanket over his head." It's just like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
What a great segue. But detour. But yes, I mean it's also the other big thing of Notion that it wasn't shown off too much.
But there was a drop dash.
But the fucking drop dash was in there. That's crazy.
Yeah, in the prototype you hold up in A, not down in A.
Okay.
Or jump and hold, right? In Mania?
In Mania, yeah.
Just jump in and hold, yeah. So this one you have to hold up and do that. Which Mr. Taxman claims to not know about, but he used an alien emoji in his tweet. So I go,
Well, that could just mean that your phone isn't up to date with the emoji he's using.
oh, maybe.
I used to have that a lot where like Kerry would say, I'm like, why are you always sending me fucking alien emojis? She's like, I'm not. Oh, my phone isn't up to date. that's my bad. Well, who knows? Either way, like
Maybe
I
it's
know.
an emoji that said "fuck you, Mykonos fan, you piece of shit." Did update your phone, which is really hard to convey in an emoji. But yeah,
Wake up,
so like,
sheeple.
it's like a logical extension of original Sonic's moveset, but it's really cool that they were at least thinking about it back then. I'm glad we eventually got it.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to see that we almost got it because the Insta Shield wasn't in this build yet.
I think I prefer the Insta Shield. The Insta Shield is still one of my favorite like powers he has in any game.
For Sonic 3 and Knuckles, at least, I would take it over that.
That's the thing. Is I was thinking like, would the drop dash really be that effective in Sonic 3?
No, because the main thing that stuck out to me, DRX, he's released a ton of protos over the years. He was the one streaming. When he got to the Hydro City boss, where it spins the water around,
Yeah.
that boss is so much better with an Insta Shield, and without it, he was just floundering for a bit on stream. Like, he had to keep reloading save states. Like,
Oh, really?
It was not working out for him just because, like, it worked a little different mechanically, I think, but also, like, you just couldn't hit it as easily because it's got those two spinning balls.
Yeah.
And the Insta Shield can negate that. But if you don't have it, it's a lot tougher.
I've always wondered why they've never brought that back.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a really good fucking move, man.
It's a good move.
I mean, technically, it's in Mania.
It
But
can be.
it is
man.
that annoying. You can pick one. Like fuck you. There's like 12 buttons. Give me all 3 of them.
You can have one toy.
You can. Who
Oh, you.
actually
Dude.
selects? Fuck you.
Dude.
Fuck you. Who actually selects the peel out, the super peel out to use over the spin dash?
Me once for 3 seconds. And I was like,
It's terrible.
It's like, this is a cool animation, but I don't want to use it.
That's the thing. Like it looks so cool, but it's so dumb.
Yeah. Anytime I use the peel out, I go, that looks cool. Then I hold down to roll into a ball.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I
like
don't get
maybe in the original CD, just because the CD spin dash is so bad
Yeah.
that maybe you use it then. But that's why when you play the Taxman cover, you always switch to Sonic 2 spin dash
Yeah. And then you forget there is another spin dash, like I did.
because you don't need it
Until you
because the
mentioned
Sonic 2 spin dash is one of the best fucking power up moves in video game history.
Yeah. So yeah, that there was some other stuff like the elemental shields they didn't have their effects implemented yet.
Okay.
I was telling you earlier that I didn't catch the end of the stream because my Twitch was fucking up and I never went back.
I only watched a bit directly during Ice Cap. I just saw a little bit of Ice Cap, and that's what I was able to see.
Yeah, you were busy. I think I remember fawning about it over you.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff where like Sonic could jump in the air and shoot 2 rings out left and right horizontally, which some people were saying like maybe that was the original electric shield attack. Like it could send out electric and the rings were just placeholders.
Oh, okay.
That was like some speculation with us in the retro Discord. But there's just so much cool shit in that. Like that's probably one of the biggest Sonic prototype finds ever, just for how much that recontextualized the idea of Sonic 3 and the development and the Jackson involvement. Because what I wonder is those tracks couldn't have been done in a few weeks. So I'm just like,
I don't know. Could they have? I think they can because Sonic Spinball, when its first press release, its first printing, had like that Mega Drive Rocky version of the Sonic 1 theme.
all right.
But then after it shipped, Sega were like, we don't own this. Don't fucking do this. And so they say Howard Drossin, in like 2 hours, created the final track. Da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun.
I guess my thing there is like they would have had to have gone to Jackson Sound Team, maybe Michael himself, and then work that back out. It's not impossible. It's just
I mean,
for the quality of those tracks. You know what I mean? Like they're not thrown together compositions.
Well, no, it's just like I always assume. Well, it's just like well, because it's like the credits was just Strangers in Moscow. Ice Cap was just because I want to say because it wasn't. I think
Ice Cap was Hard Times, so maybe that was quick.
I think kind of it wasn't necessarily Jackson. It was like his
team.
It was his team. So I'm sure he oversaw it, but I don't think Jackson was the actual one.
Right.
Actually composing this shit. I think he was like, yeah, that sounds good. I could be wrong, but like that's when I
guess I just love to know when those tracks were done.
Yeah,
and why, if they were done, why they weren't in this build. You know what I mean?
Well, it was because like years ago, Yuji Naka. I think it's the only time he's officially talked about this. He says something along the lines of, "When the time comes, I'll say what happened with Michael Jackson." And a lot of people thought that once Jackson died, that would be the time. But if there's ever a time for Yuji Naka to come out and spill the beans on the Michael Jackson story, this is it. Especially with this prototype. Like, I can't...
We're having some talks today about people promising to spill the beans and then never spilling the beans.
Rob Paulson, you broke my heart. But yeah, it's like... Because, Naka doesn't work at Sega anymore. I'm sure... Those types of contracts have gone the way of Dodo. It's been over 20 years now, but I'm just
There were contracts.
Was no in Sega in the 90s, there probably wasn't. So, just fucking tell us, man.
It's like we know. Just say it. It's like you're not going to upset the world by being like, "Hey, Michael Jackson worked on Sonic." You'll be like, "Yeah, of course."
Well, the only time Sega officially has come with, there was a
the collection thing.
There was the collection thing where the trivia for Sonic 3 had at one time Michael Jackson was considered for the role. And to give, I'm sure people know this, but to give some context, the general, again, there's never been an official answer, but the thing that most people theorize is that obviously around the time before Sonic 3 came out, was the first lawsuit against Michael Jackson for someone accused him of pedophilia, and so there's a lot of people where like Sega then took his name off it because they didn't want to have any controversies. There are some people who say that Jackson himself took his name off it because he wasn't happy with the sound quality.
Yeah,
which I always felt that was not true because before Sonic 3 came out, Moonwalker had a video game.
Yeah.
So he would have known what the Genesis sounded like and why would he do a game, So it's... And, there's all this stuff. And then obviously the PC release and the fact that, these tracks weren't originally what we got. Mm-hmm. Like 99.999 reoccurring kind of confirmed that Jackson did do these tracks.
Yeah. On top of the Moonwalker thing, like, he played Sonic 1 and 2. Like... There's pictures of him playing that video game. Like, he knows what the sound is from the system, right?
And also, because I think he was a fan of it, and he probably went to Sega.
Yeah.
Because he did the same thing with The Simpsons.
And Space Channel 5.
Yeah, like he was just a fan of these. So he would just, because he's Michael Jackson,
he would
just contact these companies like, hey, I'm a fan of Bart Simpson, let me write a song for him. Or like, I like this video game franchise, let me do music for it.
Yeah, and when Michael Jackson calls you and says, hey, I want to do a thing for you, at least... Before some of this stuff, why the fuck would you say no, right? So, like...
Yeah,
to me, it's much more believable that Sega, played it safe, I don't see how Michael got in that situation unless someone told him at some point, we can get a better sound chip in the cartridge. And he went, oh, okay. And then they're like, haha, we got Michael on the project, baby! Sonic 3! Wahoo!
Again, it's like after
Moscow.
Moonwalk, I'm like, you would know what it fucking sounds like. Like, I don't buy that at all.
The only thing I could ever think to counter that is, and I don't believe this, but maybe he played Sonic CD and was like,
I was expecting that,
and it's like maybe I can get to that. If that's the angle, fine. But
you would think after the first conversation, they would be like, "No, it's for the Mega Drive, Genesis."
Or even like the first test of the audio, being like, "Wait, that's not." Oh, okay, never mind. I'm out. It's like there's just no way to me that him and his sound team entered this, and then he exited because of that. Like, there's no way no one ever communicated that to him.
Yeah.
If he didn't experience it firsthand, you know.
Exactly.
Man, but yeah, cool prototype. I keep meaning to check it out. I still haven't played it.
Same.
For me, it's like that's more interesting as a thing to like. I'm much more interested in reading about and like hearing the music and watching.
Dude, I love how Mushroom Hill or Valley in this build sounds.
I need to check that out.
Mushroom Valley sounds. You know, I think it's Angel Island Act 2. It sometimes removing a layer of music I think
Right.
sounds cooler. So Angel Island Act 2 is missing a layer at the start.
Yeah.
But I think it makes it sound cooler than the original than the version we got.
Excuse me. But yeah, I haven't played it personally. One of the questions we got was if we played
I
it.
think
That's why I'm
I
saying-
think we got a few questions about
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
So I was just heading that off to say I didn't. But we did want to give a shout out before we got into questions for he's kind of nobody. Not really anyone's heard about him. John, some call me John. He got to meet a puma, and we just want to congratulate him.
We did, you know.